So, hello everybody, my name is Real911 and some minutes ago the Nintendo Direct just ended. Um, and some of my predictions were right, some were wrong. Um, but basically, yes, the Switch is going to be having some really nice games, which are mostly ports, but yeah. So the Direct started with this guy just speaking. Obviously, we can have Iwata. I know it. He's rest in peace. He was a great man, but yeah, this guy is very. I mean, it's better than seeing. What's the name of the president? Kimishima. It's better than seeing his face all like, I don't know, just completely emotionless and heartless and how a businessman is. But yeah, it was good. So about the direct. Um, I'm gonna be returning it a bit so you can see all the stuff here. Basically, it started off with the 3DS. As you can see, it has some Hey Pikmin, which is the 3DS Pikmin game that was announced last year. I think it's gonna be playing like mainly like if it was a Mario vs Donkey Kong, but with some Pikmin features. I mean, the game kind of looks good, but you know, 2D games in the 3DS about franchises that were like super great in 3D, in full 3D, aren't like franchises that were in 3D that now have this tendency to go to 2D, and the 3DS are like, I don't know. We also got the new amiibo, which it says right here that you can tap it and they will like come to you, something like that. And if that's the only feature that is gonna have this amiibo, I mean, it looks awesome, the amiibo, but that may not be a reason for me to buy it. Now we have Ever Oasis, which is sort of a nice RPG. I mean, it's got that like kind of Monster Hunter vibe, or even Bravely Default. It kind of looks like it would be a good game, but for some reason the demos that we had and all the stuff made it look like kind of shallow, something like that. They say that the story will be emotional. I hope they're right, because if not, it's going to be such a mess and such lazy fest, snore fest. Next we have another game which was already in Japan, Monster Hunter Stories, and it's coming until fall. I don't know why, because Monster Hunter Stories released just like 1 or 2 months ago. It's coming out this fall for us in the West, and no amiibo, but the people in Japan has like 2 waves of amiibo, and then we have this thing that I don't know who requested it, because I didn't ask for this. Yokai Watch 2 Psychic Specters. Seriously, who likes Yokai Watch? I mean, I'm not being rude or anything, but a re-release of a game that came out like not even last year, like some month ago, a re-release with like, I think this is a new feature, which is a separate game, whole game in Japan, which is called Yokai Watch Buster or something like that. A re-release is not like my best idea. I don't know if in Japan they have I think they already have the third part of Yokai Watch of the games. But a re-release of the second game here in America, where it's not like popular. I mean, at least not as popular as Pokemon or something like that here in America. In Japan, it's like super popular. It's even gonna be featured in the Olympics. But rather than that, I don't know. It still doesn't convince me. Then we have this concept. It's kind of like I don't know, a card game. Like, I'm not a fan of this. I haven't heard of this game. Maybe it's on PC, but I haven't heard about it. I don't really know. Culture Revolt. It's the thing. It's coming August 29. We have RPG Maker, which is something like Mario Maker but with RPGs. I'm not really that interested into this either. You can even set some stuff. You can customize characters, enemies, the landmarks, and it's basically like a Final Fantasy 1, or I mean, in the style of Final Fantasy 1. Some dungeon crawling here and there. You can make the land, but it's like this simple and cartoonish graphics. But when you go into battle, it's like kind of a more serious tone. But yeah, I'm not really interested into that. Miitopia, another port from a Japanese game, which is kind of weird. I mean, it looks funny when you think about it. All the myths coexisting into one place, not like I mean, we've got already like Tomodachi Life, but this is more like a RPG, a true game, because Tomodachi Life is like simulator life or something like that, but this is more like an RPG. I mean, it looks fun. I might try it, but it won't be like a great hit for the Nintendo 3DS. So yeah. Next we have Fire Emblem Echoes, and I think my friend Insane Inspire is going to be talking about this. I hope so. Fire Emblem Echoes Season Pass, because we want your money. So yeah, we start off with Season Pass. We have some stuff going on there, but yeah. Season Pass. We have also Team Kirby Clash Deluxe, which is like the same thing as there was this other game, which is a multiplayer game. They're basically like taking up they're basically taking up the extra modes that Kirby Planet Robot had, which it was this. It's sort of an action RPG in which you level up, and also there's the Kirby 3D Run or something like that, in which you have to get the most points out of a 3D environment closed, but you inhale some powers and you exhale them, and depending on how many stuff you hit, that's how many points you get. So they're basically re-releasing those modes as separate games. The first one, it's set to be free, free to start. So they want more money, yeah. And the other mode, it's like a Kirby 3D Run, something like Kirby's Blowout Blast, which is basically like more in depth than the puzzles they had. I see some different like areas you have here, different puzzles. You can even have some boss battles. But rather than that, I mean, did we really needed this? Did we really ask for this? I mean, for Kirby Fighters Deluxe, it was kind of different because it was like smashing. If you didn't want to, if you didn't want the game, you could just buy this sort of extra mode for it. The DDD's Drum Run or something like that, which was like a rhythm game. It was, I don't know, really just not impressive. It only had like 3 songs or something, and it was kind of difficult to get into it. But yeah, they're not like exciting games for 3DS. Not many of the games that they announced today are like exciting games. Not like, I don't know, like a Metroid would be. Not Federation Force, please. Not again Federation Force, not a Triforce Heroes, something from an old franchise that needed to be on the 3DS, but because the Switch is coming, I'm sure they're going to be doing it now for the Switch. We also have a new multiplayer action game for Nintendo. Nope. I'm skipping that. Okay. That's how you're gonna play Nintendo? Okay. Now we have another port of a game that was already in Japan. Bye Bye Box Boy, I think it's called. I like this series. I played the first one and second one, which is the only ones that have been out for America. I haven't found a way to play this game in Japanese, so yeah. Bye Bye Boy Box is coming, I think, after the Direct. Right now it's available. We also have some customs. I don't think the Japanese version had that, but they do have some amiibo, a Box Boy amiibo. So yeah, that I really wanted that amiibo. I mean, it looks cool, it looks amazing, but whatever. At least we're getting the game, and we're not getting like too many months later. I think it's still only like 1 or 2 months. Not like Monster Hunter Stories or any of the other games. But yeah, I think this will be a nice thing. And as I predicted, some more amiibo. Link amiibo, which is Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword. It was Dynamite, something like it. We also had the Cloud, Corrin, and Bayonetta, which are getting alternate versions. But here's the thing, they're only getting it like on... They even said it's some of the alternate versions may only be in some retail stores, and that's the kind of thing that I hated about the Smash Bros. Amiibo, that they were only available in a certain store. And I mean, if it sucks for the US to get, if it sucked for the US to get some amiibos back when it was like a crazy thing, for Mexico it was worse because some amiibos didn't even get here. I mean, the Jigglypuff amiibo, I just recently saw it, but back in the day it didn't even appear here. Not even the Wario amiibo, not even a ton of amiibos. And if they did, some of the people that made the like pre-orders, they got basically they were fooled because when they did the pre-order, you had to like give an amount of money. You know, normal pre-orders. The catch was they never gave them the amiibo, and I think it was like Pete, Wario, and Rosalina and Luma, and some other stuff. I have a Rosalina and Luma and Marth because I found them on the Target by accident in one of my vacation trips. But rather than that, here in Mexico, amiibo hunting was like super difficult, super stressing also, because the Golden Mario amiibo was like the craziest thing you'll ever see. It was like a long line. Some people even cried because they didn't get it. My father had to like convince the guy to give it to him. I was at college, I couldn't go shop it, but yeah, we have that. So overall, for the 3DS, I mean, it's looking like Nintendo is already dropping it, like with slowly, but they're gonna drop it like either this year or next year. Basically, all of the games that they showed are just ports, or I mean, sorry, not ports, like games that were already out in Japan mostly, and some of the games that are coming out aren't like that exciting. Not at the level like Kid Icarus Uprising, or I don't know, Super Mario 3D Land, or even a Pokemon game. I would like to see another Mr. Jungian out here, and that's something that we didn't saw. I was wrong about that prediction, but yeah, we didn't saw anything about it. And that's the thing, I think this Direct was kind of meh as a whole for the 3DS and for the Switch. So yeah, for the 3DS was that. For the Switch, we have the ARMS, which basically is kind of the same information that we've been hearing since it was announced. Like, you can change your arms. You have these different fighters, which are kind of basically the same. They can all block. They can all do a special like counter move. But rather than that, the game looks like Wii U Boxing 2.0. I mean, I'm sorry, but it looks like they just added a jumping button and like a counter button, and the arms now are kind of like, how do you call this? They stretch out and they move out, and that's like kind of the difference. Instead of making it a close combat like game, they made it a like you have to be in a wider range of the other guy that's playing. I mean, and using different like styles of arms, that's kind of cool, but yeah, it's basically the same idea because some of the, as you see, some of the boxing gloves and all this stuff, it's kind of the same. They only do like punches. They do punches straight, or they do like with an effect or something, or they're more heavy. There's like a fire type dragon, something like that. There's a missile. There's like guns in this game. But I mean, rather than that, I would have loved to see like a special power up that you could throw your arm into one direction and it like, I don't know, it got out of the place of it detached of your arm like momentarily, and it did a loop and it could hit you, and I don't know, different stuff that it's just that makes the game less dull. We also got announced a new character, but it's like they kind of play the same. The only difference I see is that maybe some are more like faster than others, but rather than that, they all can be equipped with the same with all the arms, as they said. So it's not looking like it's a big difference. So yeah, arms. I don't know if it's going to be cool. It looks like kind of boring actually. Even Pokken was more fun than this, and I think it had more characters than this. But yeah, you have your generic Japanese guy here, your generic tough guy, your generic like creepy guy, generic normal guy, which is this thing, and Ribbon Girl, which is like your normal female character girl. So yeah, nothing really impressive for me. They're also releasing, I don't know why, I think they want more money, and they're releasing another color of the Joy-Cons, which is yellow, which is like, wow. And also a battery pack. Now, as far as I know, weren't the Joy-Con controllers rechargeable within the like grip or something, or is this their way to like fix the problem in which the Joy-Con controllers wouldn't charge properly in some ways, or just to give it more like power? But come on, wait, and they're not even, and they don't even work with rechargeable batteries. They work with normal batteries, and you have to buy more batteries. I don't know what Nintendo was thinking about this. I mean, yes, it may have been tougher for them to make like a rechargeable battery, but no. I mean, why? This was like way back in the past, back in the back with the Wii version, with the Wii, where you had to buy a ton of batteries because they ran out like crazy. And now you're telling me that you're going back? I mean, the cartridges, I understand it, they load faster. It's proved, obviously, but batteries again. The thing about the Joy-Cons was supposed to make them rechargeable, so you didn't have to buy any more batteries. Think about every other controller, the Pro controller, the PS4 controller, the Xbox One. I think the Xbox One controller. You don't have to buy any more batteries. You can only charge it either through the console or through a cable or a base, that a charging base, something like that. And that's something like, why Nintendo? And let me just tell you right now, if the Joy-Con controllers are like, I think they're $50 or $60 right now. If the Joy-Con controllers are at this price, just imagine the price that this thing is going to be having. Like, for example, I'm guessing like between $40 or $50, or even $60 if they go crazy like with the base, because they already announced the base also, that they'll sell it separately. And I heard that the base is going to cost like $100 or so, and it's just ridiculous. A piece of plastic, which is like, it's just that a piece of plastic. And the motherboard, I've seen the motherboard because a guy took that thing out of the Switch base, and it made like in a smaller case, in a more kind of easier way to connect the Switch to the TV case. So I don't know why Nintendo is doing this. It's why. Mario Party Deluxe is the same thing, just with battle modes, and same thing, the same menu, the same stuff, just some added features. Ultra Street Fighter 2, basically the same with 2 new characters, which are already in Super Street Fighter 4 Ultra, or whatever name that is. Characters that we've already seen in recent Street Fighter. So yeah, a new mode which is just like doing like Kamehamehas, or in this case Hadokens, but I mean it's the same game that you could play in an emulator, in an arcade. Why? I don't know why. Real seriously, and it's available on May. So yeah. Minecraft. Do I even have to talk about this? It's Minecraft. I mean, even a cell phone can run it. Why should we be impressed about it? We're getting more arcade games, which is okay, sort of. Sonic Forces, no new footage, and same thing that we've known. Sonic and Classic Sonic are teaming up. The only thing I think, oh yes, this Green Hill Zone again. Don't get me wrong, I like Green Hill Zone, but again, it's like the 4th, 5th time they've redone it in 3D, in HD remaster, new 1080p 60 frames per second. I mean, it's like, it's getting old. There are more tracks of Classic Sonic that you can use to represent him, not like Green Hill Zone. I'm guessing they're going to do the same thing as in Generations. He's running in Green Hill Zone, and then boop, he appears into the Sonic Forces world and time, because I don't know. Now we have Sonic Mania. It looks cool, but I mean it's not a Switch exclusive. I may get it on PC. I know. It looks cool, but not really engaging. It's for the old classic Sonic fans, so yeah. Project Neku, which is basically a mini game that we ripped off from Mario Party, in which you could replace tiles with your colors, and that's it. Even looks like a Mega Man ripoff. Instead of using bombs, you use your butt. So yeah. I mean, not really impressive. I can play this thing. I think it's in Mario Party 3 or 2. I don't know. And the most astonishing thing is it's called Project Mekuru, and it comes this summer, and it doesn't even have a name. So what are you waiting for? Oh, right, we have nothing to announce at this moment. Sorry, I forgot about it. Fate Extella, basically like a Warriors game. It's basically that, a Warriors game with maybe more story or some stuff like that, but yeah. Aside from that, nothing new that we haven't seen. It's Gaia 5, looks like Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy Tactics. Not really impressive. Next we have Puyo Puyo Tetris. Puyo Puyo and Tetris, that's simple, you just have to put them together and that's all. And then we have these things that make the Switch even more lazy and lame. Monopoly on Switch. Monopoly on Switch. And you can feel the dice in the Joy-Cons. Wow, that's so amazing. It's like I couldn't even go out there and buy a Monopoly and I can feel the dice in my hands. Why do that? Why go out there and buy a Monopoly that costs like, I don't know, maybe $20, $30? No, instead I'm going to buy a Switch, which is $500, and also a maybe $40 or $50 game, which is Monopoly, so I can play with all my family on the TV and feel the dice. That's what I want. I want to feel the dice in the Joy-Con. And it's from Ubisoft. That's the third party game that's gonna make it use Ubisoft. That's the, do we call this? That's the third party exclusives that you're gonna give the Switch. That's how you're gonna help the Switch become successful with Monopoly. and with a port of Rayman Legends, which is already on Wii U and Xbox One and Xbox 360, I think, and PS4. Just ports, like with the first year of Wii U, seriously. Then we have THQ Nordic. I was actually expecting them, as I read the headlines, to release Darksiders 1 and 2 for the Switch, but I guess they're just waiting for the Switch to be a better selling console or something. I mean, it's sold its units, but in terms of games, it's looking like kind of lazy. It's basically ports of their games that they've done. Battle Crashers, I think it's a new one, and it's launching first on Switch. I think it's a timed exclusive, but yeah. And another port, because the Switch needs ports. That's what they need. They need ports from older games to survive, just like the Wii U, because reasons. Instead of having, like, I don't know, Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, instead of having like Injustice 2, instead of having, like, I don't know, new games that aren't old. I didn't even saw this. Namco Museum, which is basically more arcade games. And you can start to see like a trend here. It's just ports or old games. Ports, old games, and one or two new games that are exactly like the other games that we already have in the Wii U or the Wii, or even on our 3DS. I hope they're really saving their big guns for like E3 or something, because if this is all that the Switch is going to have in this first year, aside from Mario and maybe Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but I don't think that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is going to release this year. Aside from that, I think the Switch is going to be like a lackluster system in terms of games. Right now, the only great games that we've got for the Nintendo Switch are Zelda, which is already on Wii U, and I have it on Wii U because I'm not going to waste $500 here in Mexico to just play the game on the go. And maybe Bomberman, but it's not like a high-rated game, and it's a simple game, and it's like the same game that we've got. They even released, I don't know why they released Bomberman 64 the same day that the Switch released, that the Switch was launched. It was kind of, I don't know, just funny, I think. And it looks like the same game, kind of the same game that you could have in the Switch with Nintendo 64 graphics, obviously, but kind of the same thing without online, maybe, but yeah. Here's the base, the piece of plastic that you're gonna get if you want to play the Switch in another room without having to move the base. Funny how they're not saying the price point, they're just saying go to store.nintendo.com. I'm going to go right now to store.nintendo.com. And we're going to see how much it costs. Okay, $60. $60 for a piece of plastic. $60. I mean, the Pro Controller was already overpriced, but $60 for this? Seriously? Really? Whatever. Now we have Splatoon 2, the last game that they were talking about, and they basically just showed off a new mode. I'm going to save you the pain of having to go through a kind of different sort of announced trailer. And now we have this, which is basically like a zombies mode or something like it. They even changed the gear, and you have this like, I kept hearing, I know the announcer was supposed to call them like Salmon or Salmon Run, something. Salmon Run is the name of the mode, but I kept hearing, I don't know if it was because I was in another room, I kept hearing that the guy was like saying something inappropriate that wasn't salmon and sounded like semen, but yeah, basically that. I don't know why I heard that, sorry. So basically, yes, it's like a horde mode, it's like your typical zombie attack mode. And you collect the eggs, the power eggs, and some gold eggs, which are basically things that you have to collect and put into some canisters. And I mean, it looks cool, it looks fun, but it's nothing that we haven't seen before. As in all these direct, I think that's something that bothers me the whole time. We've only seen things that are already out. With the Joy-Con controllers, the only thing we got is like a new color. Are you really going to buy? Are you really going to waste more money on just a different color of Joy-Cons? The battery thing, it's okay, but as I said, why not making them like rechargeable batteries? You even have to touch the thing. I'm sure now the Joy-Cons are going to be heavy as hell. Why even doing this to your people, to your fans? Making them buy not only your overpriced accessories, but also wasting money on batteries, wasting money on things that they don't really need, wasting money on a console that has monopoly. I mean, PS4 and Xbox One have monopoly too. I get it. They have Uno. I get it, but they have a ton of other games that are more entertaining than this. In their first year, I get it wasn't like the best year, but right here, right now, PS4 has a big library. Even Wii U has a bigger library than Switch. And I don't know how that's happening. I mean, I get it, it's the first year, but the Switch delay for March, instead of releasing it in holiday of the last year, supposedly was because there were going to be no games for the Switch. And we don't have any games for the Switch still. So yeah, Kimishima, I don't know about you, but it's already past a month since your console released. We're nearing E3. I hope you have your big guns for this year, and I hope they announce games for this year, releasing this year, which are new games, not ports, not arcade games, not old games, not something that we hadn't seen before. Like with the Mario Odyssey. The Mario Odyssey, it looks great, it looks cool, it looks like something, a weird mix between Super Mario Galaxy and Mario 64, in which you have these big environments and it looks so pretty. And you can basically go around, roam anywhere, and do some parkour. In Mario Galaxy, you could do that, something like it with the twist that Mario did. But I mean, I'm still not buying a Switch this year. Or I don't think that close to. I don't think that I'm buying it nowhere near because of this, because of the old games returning, the return of the old games, let's call it. Even 3DS has some dumb stuff. I hope that in E3 not only they focus on Switch, but also they focus on new games for the 3DS, not this, please, not a complete edition of already released games, which no one cares about. Something new, so please, Nintendo, do it right. Step up your game. There's no time to waste. You don't have any time to waste. You don't have the resources to waste. So yeah, and with Xbox One Scorpio and PS4 Pro, it's going to be a much more difficult scenario for you. If with the Wii U was difficult, just imagine having to compete with 4K gaming and with games that may be a lot bigger and better than what the Switch could handle. Maybe even with these changes and all that stuff, like with the new 3DS, what Nintendo planned to do maybe even developers start making games exclusive for like Xbox One Scorpio or PS4 Pro. Who knows? I mean, they're supposedly not allowed to do that, but come on, at some point, the Switch is going to be like the Wii U, that where it can't handle everything, every single game that developers release. I don't even think that it can handle like Shadow of War. But yeah, that's gonna be it. So I'm gonna see you in the next time. Leave a like, leave a comment about what you thought about Direct. Where do you think Nintendo is going? So I'll see you in the next time. Bye.